Season 12 has finally arrived, and we've had a fair few weapon changes this season. So today I have the Apex Legends Season 12 weapons tier list. I'll go over my predictions for the season and my advice on what weapons to use within the brand new season of Apex Legends. Just before we get started, please remember that this is my opinion. Everyone has their own, so if you don't agree with me on what I said, that's absolutely fine. Just don't spread negativity, and please keep it civil in the comments down below. As well as that, I also have the Season 12 Legends tier list out now. If you want to watch that, that'll be linked in the description down below. That is the exact same video as this is, except I rank the Legends instead of the weapons. So if you haven't seen tier list before, we start off at D tier, which is the bottom tier, and work our way up all the way to S tier, which is the best. This video also has chapters down below, so you can skip to where you want to watch. Starting us off in C tier, we have the P2020 and the L-Star. Now the P2020 is down here even though it has got the hammer points back, but even though it has got the hop up back, it's a worse weapon to use with the attachment on. And without the attachment, the P2020 is what I like to call the starter weapons. This is a weapon that is designed to use at the start of the game. Used as a weapon to hold while you wait for a better weapon. These starter weapons are in the game to make the game fair and keep the meta in place. They're not meant for end game, and they're not also meant to deal a hell of a lot of damage either. The S-Star is down here too, as it was dominating the meta a couple of seasons back, but since then it seems to have died down quite a bit. There's also been an introduction of an old SMG back into the normal rotation of Apex, which is much better than this weapon, and we'll get into that very soon. Next up is C tier, we have the Charge Rifle, the Bow, Triple Take, Devotion, and finally the Sentinel. For me, the Sentinel is the worst sniper in the game. It's still a great weapon to use, but compared to other snipers, it's just ain't it. It's still a good sniper, it's just not the best sniper. The Triple Take has been given a new hop up this season, the Kinetic Loader, and this is a great hop up to have. It allows you to reload faster when you are sliding, and it also lets the charger time on the choke to be reduced when sliding too. The only problem I have with this, sliding isn't as effective with the Triple Take as it is with the other weapon it can go on, which I'll speak about a little bit later. The Charge Rifle is insane to use and insanely annoying to play against. It's not had any buffs or nerfs this season, and so it's dominating last season, it's going to be dominating this season. So make sure you're aware of that, and people will still be using this weapon, and it's still going to be hella annoying to play against. The Bow is down in C tier, but it's had a little bit of a buff, if you want to call it that. When you have the shatter caps hop up attached, when you ADS, it automatically changes back to the normal arrows, but if you're hip firing, it'll automatically change to the shatter caps hop up. So basically, you don't have to change it manually, it does it automatically for you. This makes the weapon a little bit better than it used to be, but it stays down in C tier as it's not an actual buff to the weapon itself, as something such as a damage buff, it's just a little bit of a hop up buff. Starting us off in B tier with the Eva A, Longbow, Havoc, Car, RE45, Mozam, and the 3030 repeater. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the Mozam. Yes, the base Mozam is technically all the way down in D tier, but the introduction of the hammer points coming back makes the gun absolutely amazing. If you never used the hammer points on the Mozam before, then you gotta give it a try this season, as trust me, this weapon turns into an absolute beast. It's not overpowered, but it's just insane. And the same goes for the RE45. The RE45 for the first time ever has been given the hammer points hop up. I'll show on screen now from a video of Candy's video. As you can see, he's using the RE45 with the hammer points, and I think it's like the Mozam. It shreds, it's absolutely insane, but I don't think it's classed as OP. I think it's a very good weapon to use, and I think it's going to be quite some funny combos this season. Yeah, I don't think it's overpowered. I think it's going to be quite good though. The Longbow is down in B tier, but it has only had one change to it this season. And this is that it's no longer on floor loot. It's no longer in the actual rotation of the game. You can only craft these weapons in replicators now. So the only way you can get your hands on this weapon is by crafting it in the replicator or finding it in death boxes. But I think that also applies to flyers too. The Eva 8 is in B tier too, and yes, please, it is a very good weapon, but it's just not as good as other shotguns. Now, I've had this debate many times before, and so in this video, I decided to put the shotguns to the test. If you want to watch that video, the link is down in the description below. But to sum up for you, the Eva 8 did a lot better than I expected, but it's just not as good as the other weapons. It's still a very good shotgun to use, it's just not the best shotgun in the game. And that's why it's down in B tier. Moving on to A tier now, and every single weapon that I mentioned now, even in S tier, are the best weapons to use in the season. And if you're not using some of these weapons, you want to be picking them up, as it will change your gameplay entirely. So starting us off will be the Peacekeeper, the Mastiff, the Wingman, the Flatline, the Hemlock, and finally the Prowler. The Flatline has also been put in the replicators for crafting, and so can no longer be found as floor loot. But this doesn't affect the ranking, but it has had one little nerf, and that is that it does one less damage this season than they did last season. but I don't think people understand how huge this is. Now, because of the nerf, the R301 takes the crown for the best AI in the game, as it shoots faster, does more damage, and has an easier recoil too. So for me, the flatline would be an S tier, but just because of that one damage, it's no longer the best AI in the game, and so it's down in A tier. The PK is also in A tier, and this is because of the new hop-up, the kinetic feeder. Now, the kinetic feeder is 10 times better on the PK than it is on the triple take, and this is because the time it takes to charge up the toke when sliding is almost instant, and if you're playing Maggie, you're going to be running faster with the shotgun, and you're going to be dealing more damage with the shotgun too. The PK in the hands of Maggie is going to be insane. The PK is insane with the new hop-up, as also when sliding, you can reload automatically too, and this is kind of instant. Once you shoot one shot with the PK, practically automatically, instantly, you get one more shot reloaded. The PK is going to be dominating this season, and it's well worth you picking it up. I also forgot to note that the Rampage has a damage reduced from 28 to 26, and the number of shots during the rev state from 40 to 34. This means that the Rampage is now A tier. I totally forgot to add this in the edit. So yeah, the Rampage is now A tier, no longer S tier. The damage is down from 28 to 26. And the number of shots during the rev state is from 40 to 34. We'll make it all the way up to S tier, and these are the best weapons in Apex Season 12. And they are the R301, the Alternator, and finally the R99. I'm hoping that people see the potential in the R301 this season, and that it's the best AR in the game, but this is something you've got to keep your eye out for. The Alternator is back, and it is as good out of the care package as it was in. Yes, the destruction rounds have been removed, but that's about it. It's a great contender for a primary weapon this season, even more so than a secondary. Make sure you try this weapon out in the next few days and drop a comment down below about how you think about the brand new Alternator. That's going to call it today's video, guys. If you found this video helpful and or entertaining in any way, shape or form, then make sure to go down below and drop a like. Once you're down there, make sure to drop a sub to be entered into the next subscriber shout out for my next video. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. Once again, it's been my pleasure, and until next time, keep dominating, legends.